Rock'n'Roll Racing is a combat racing game released for the Super Nintendo in 1993. It was published by Interplay and developed by Silicon and Synapse, which went on to become the behemoth we all know today, Blizzard Entertainment. Love them or hate them, Blizzard was developing great titles before they conquered the world with their MMO, World of Warcraft. They also developed The Lost Vikings, The Lost Vikings 2, and Blackthorn for the SNES. Rock'n'Roll Racing definitely comes from a long line of vehicle upgrade combat racing games. The first in this line was Racing Destruction Set for the Commodore 64. Before Silicon and Synapse created Rock'n'Roll Racing, they actually tried their hand at porting Racing Destruction Set and came up with RPM Racing for the SNES in late 1991. It's a watered-down version of Rock'n'Roll Racing, and though I played neither of these predecessors, I did play RC Pro-Am for the Nintendo. That game was awesome, and Rock'n'Roll Racing is a worthy successor. Unfortunately, racing games don't have gripping storylines, but I do happen to have this game manual. Wow, look at this manual.
Your laundry's still in the dryer.
There's a brief introduction to the history of racing on our actual planet Earth, but it goes on to say that hundreds of years into the future, after finding intelligent life on other planets, that in the year 2911, Rock'n'Roll Racing was born. But since this is a racing game, mostly, having story isn't really important. Even though the game lacks any real plot, I must say that the game's settings are pretty damn cool, and the menus match the game's theme. The developers did an awesome job at creating unique planets across the galaxy, each with their own concept and villainous racer. If you like racing games and blowing things up, then that's what brought you here, and you're in no need of any meaningful story or life lessons. Blizzard's fondness for Easter eggs and crossovers was evident even in the 90s. Olaf from The Lost Vikings is a playable character in Rock'n'Roll Racing, with a rather easy unlock on the character select screen. He has the highest stats of all the drivers, and he's obviously the best choice. You can also see one of the other Vikings on a billboard promoting Viking Cola. Sadly, nothing about a cow level made it into any one of these games. After you've selected your driver, you buy your first car, and you're put right into the action with a standard four-corner track. Almost every single button of the Super Nintendo controller is in use. Left and right on the D-pad provide steering, one button is for gas, the other three are for your weapons or vehicle's abilities, and the L and R buttons on top are used for even tighter cornering. There are no brakes, you sissy. Even though this game was released for the Sega Genesis, I don't even want to think of what the controls were like. The game progresses with a points-based system for each planet's divisions. You start in Division B, then you advance to Division A, after which you're sent to the next planet. You earn enough points by placing in the top spots for each race, and if you can't accumulate enough points to progress, you're forced to race the tracks all over again. And if you happen to acquire enough points to leave early, you may do so, but you'll miss out on the opportunity of raising more cash through top finishes and lighting up your opponents on the tracks. You collect cash in a variety of ways. First place finishes merit the highest payout of $10,000, 7K for second, 4K for third, and fourth place is Loserville. You get 1K by collecting money bonuses scattered throughout the tracks, and you get an additional 1K by scoring a kill and for lapping bonuses. The beauty of this game is when you finish a lap, all your vehicle's weapons get replenished. Even if first place yields the max cash payout, you can obviously earn more by scoring kills. This makes Rock'n'Roll Racing a combat game disguised as a racing game. Cash can be used to upgrade your vehicle. From beefier engines to higher weapon capacities, upgrades are a great way to ensure you're not only victorious, but you can even return more cash through consistent kill bonuses on the tracks. Earlier vehicles have less powerful weapons, but because they have suspension and tires, you can upgrade those to get better bounce and turning. Once you reach the battle tracks, a tank-like vehicle, it has no tires and therefore handles gracefully without having an upgrade. The final vehicle is a hovercraft, which lacks tires and suspension altogether. It has a homing laser, which in general is less satisfying than missiles of the former vehicles. It only takes 2 missiles to score a complete kill on a vehicle, but the homing laser is nothing more than a small annoyance, rarely scoring any kills. You can upgrade your vehicle's armor to make yourself tougher on the course, but be forewarned. When you upgrade your armor, your opponents also upgrade equally, which means you'll get less kills. There's definitely a 2-player mode, and it can be fun depending on how you want to play. If you go through the circuit in 2-player mode, you'll be challenged because the highest cash payout qualifying points are awarded for first place, which means someone is going to be landing in second. You'll have to become picky about dividing the wins on the track, or else someone is going to fall behind. Literally, you can leave your loser friend behind if they don't have enough points to make it to the next planet. The funnest 2-player option is a deathmatch mode, where qualifying in the race has no bearing on the game. In fact, neither does cash. You can buy whatever vehicle you wish with max upgrades and go ham on blowing up everyone else on the track. This typically led to a fight breaking out between me and my brothers when I was younger. Like that one last year. Rock and Roll Racing doesn't stand out as the best looking game on the SNES, but it's easier to look at than most. Some of the artwork and font has been imported from the Lost Vikings, and the title screens are practically identical, which makes sense because these games were released only 2 months apart. They even use the spotlight effect here in the Lost Vikings, and as a screensaver in Rock and Roll Racing. The sprites look pretty good and have smooth rotation for racing in a fixed perspective. Like Warcraft, the cartoonish graphics lend themselves really well here and make the game fun and lighthearted. It's all around a colorful game with just the right amount of stuff happening on the screen. Well, if there were a standout category for this game, the music would surely be it. Not necessarily the first game to have licensed music. I know this because Spy Hunter for the Nintendo has one of the same licensed tracks. The other classic rock tunes include Paranoid by Black Sabbath, Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood, Highway Star by Deep Purple, and Born to be Wild by Steppenwolf. The soundtrack to this game, digitized into 16-bit glory, is definitely fun and matches the entire game's atmosphere. Included in its memorable sound is an announcer by the name of Larry Supermouth Huffman. The perfect addition to such a wildly fun game, Supermouth was a motocross announcer and even made his way into this TV commercial.
Hey, dragger racing!
We want to watch the dog show.
Okay, we can watch both. Sunday! Miller Lite presents the Wiener Dog Winter Nationals! It's Muffy versus Dogzilla. And here they come, Bob. Brought to you by Miller Lite. If you can combine great taste with less filling, you can combine anything. And Muffy takes it. That's one fast Wiener Dog!
The game's option menu has the ability to muzzle Supermouth, which could be understandable given the repetitiveness of the announcer's voice lines, but he is an integral part of this game's spirit. I believe he should always be on no matter what. I also feel that when you choose Olaf as your driver, it seems that Supermouth can't help but comment on your gameplay from the good and the bad.
Olaf launches himself. Olaf lights him up. Olaf should avoid mines. Olaf unleashes hot
I do have this funny memory from playing this game so much with a good friend of mine when we were younger. We were taking a road trip, and several hours in, when we were just spacing out and sinking into our tunes, we drove past what appeared to be a gigantic blowout from the semi-truck. There were pieces of shredded and exploded tires everywhere, and in perfect delivery I said, "Olaf should avoid mines!" To this day, I still laugh out loud thinking about it, and I owe it all to Larry the Supermouth's memorable commentary to this game. I'll always have fond memories of the first time I rented this game, and subsequent times I rented this game and played it with my friends endlessly over the weekend. There's a password system for picking up where you left off, and of course, this system has been data mined, and you can now enter passwords for impossible scenarios, such as having the best car in the game with full upgrades on the very first track. I'd recommend avoiding this since it ruins the fun of the game. In fact, it does something far greater than that. It really kind of exposes games as nothing more than gameplay loops and mathematical formulas for pressing buttons and making stuff go boom. I know in contemporary views, that's what games have come to be, but growing up and playing Rock and Roll Racing, I mean, there was an entire team of people working on this game, creating something that had meaning and value, and sold it to the world as entertainment. My 12-year-old brain knew that it was having an extreme amount of fun playing this game, but maybe my 40-year-old brain says, hey, find something more productive to do with your time. But you know what? Sometimes, just sometimes, you gotta slam Rock and Roll Racing in your old SNES, fire it up with those digitized tunes, and just blow everything up for a while. Because we don't stop playing video games because we get old. We get old because we stop playing video games. I truly enjoyed making this video, and if you liked it, the best thing you can do for me is to share it. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I not only have a Patreon account, but I get to actually put my first Patreon donator here in the video. To me, that's a huge milestone, so I want to say a personal thank you to Grunge Guy for being the first. For those of you who want to help out, the Patreon link is in the description. For all my latest content, hit subscribe, and keep up with the channel. Olaf unleashes hot fury.